All right, guys, it's Jason with the Real LLC, Lake Life and Culture. I'm here with some special guests, the mortgage doctors. I'm here with Brittany Boscan, my sister, but I'm here also with Cole and Casey, the mortgage doctors. That is awesome. Tell me, guys, a little bit about that.
Well, we are a local lender based out of Tavares, and for me, being local has always been one of the best parts of my company. That's what I consider, that's our greatest attribute. Each closing for us, for Cole and I, is more than just a business transaction. It's an investment in our community. We're helping people that I'm going to run into in the community. I'm going to see them out at the grocery store. I'm going to see them at dinner. And I want to make sure that I'm giving these people the greatest level of service and guidance possible so that when I'm out and about, they know we have a great relationship.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely the truth because, I mean, even our staff, like our underwriters, our closers, processors, the owner of the company, he plays piano at a local church.
Yeah.
We are all here. We're all from here, so we want to see this community do better. We care.
Absolutely.
So you guys have your own division under the mortgage.
Yeah, so it's a team, if you will.
Okay.
So it's Mortgage Financial Group's the big umbrella, and then Casey and I and Tamara Hutto and a few others that are coming on board are the mortgage doctors. That's
so I want to talk about this for a minute.
Okay.
All right.
The mortgage doctors, first of all, is freaking genius as far as marketing.
I can't take all the credit for it. Me and my mentor, John Corley, I'll give him a little plug. He's the guy that he was so busy they didn't know what to do with himself. And I was the guy that worked at Lowe's and stacked tile. And he said, "Hey, Cole, you're good with people. You're good with numbers. I'll give you a job. Go get licensed." And I thought, I just had a kid. I just bought a house. This seems like a great idea. So I did it. And gosh, going on almost 8 years now, more or less. I'll never look back.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, though, whenever a buyer comes to you, you're the mortgage doctors.
Yeah.
They're exposing so much of their finances to you.
I want to hear this.
scary.
I want to hear your story. I want to hear that story. I want to put the puzzle together because, Casey and I's first priority is to figure out not just a short-term financial solution, get you in the door, and then you can't afford the house in a year.
Right.
It's a 30-year mortgage. It's
planning.
We got to give that guidance.
That's right. We're not just helping people close a transaction. We're helping them plan for the next stages of their life once they get into the home.
So they don't need to be nervous about coming and finding out what it is they need to do to be able to purchase a home. It doesn't matter what their credit score is at the point, as long as they start somewhere with you.
Absolutely. I encourage anyone who's looking into maybe buying a house and they don't know yet. They're still trying to make that
Maybe
initial
6
decision.
months from now.
Talk to us.
Yeah.
We're here to help you plan. We're here to help you get that idea put into practice. We're going to help we're going to run your credit. We're going to do a soft pull. It's not going to be something like, we had another lender run our credit and now our score dropped 10 points. It's nothing like that. We're going to help you plan, and we're not going to damage your scores while we do it. We're going to sit with you, and we're going to go step by step through what your financial situation is today, where you're trying to be tomorrow, and how we're going to get there.
Yeah, and then the more information that they give you, the better you can probably help them, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
for any client, because especially if they've got kind of rocky credit, it can be a little nerve-wracking, a little embarrassing to kind of share some of those stories. But we understand life happens. It's not that you fell; it's that you got back up. You give me a call, give Casey a call, and we're going to say, hey, if you do A, B, and C over the next 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, whatever, then you should be ready. But you got to want it more than I do.
That's right.
I will give you the map, but you have to take those steps.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think too, some people they're surprised. Like they may think they can't afford a home or they don't have the right credit score, and they're waiting, and they finally call and they're surprised.
I mean, I think our biggest, just conversation we have with clients is not trusting their Google search for all the answers.
Absolutely, yes.
They need to talk with a professional,
right.
Who's in the business every day.
Information becomes irrelevant very, very quickly in the field of real estate. So it's absolutely critical for buyers to partner up with people who are actively in the business, who are on top of the changes that are going on in the industry, and able to give the best guidance possible.
Yeah, because things change all the time. I mean, we just got an FHA letter just a few days ago that
Right.
changed some of the dynamics for what's what we call mortgage insurance for FHA. It made the payments more affordable.
Absolutely.
So buyers going to see those numbers and not fully understand maybe what that impacts them. But we did a little chart. We put it out on Facebook to help educate the community, and it worked out to for $250,000, $300,000 house, it was like a
$50 to $75 a month
reduction.
that you're going to save.
in their monthly payment for the same home.
That can be a big difference for somebody.
Absolutely.
I mean, and it's on a similar note, VA the same. The funding fee dropped.
they
So I
timed
mean,
around
these
the
are the
same.
subtle changes that are constantly occurring in the industry that you may not be aware of if you're not always in it, always doing transactions.
Yeah,
And I think you guys can get more creative than buyers might think.
absolutely.
Yes.
You know,
What do you
creative
guys do?
financing for
You
sure.
have something that's a little bit different from most lenders.
Well, I mean, one of the things that we can do, and I know there are some lenders that do this, but I like to think Casey and I kind of go above and beyond, is if I have somebody that, you know, like maybe they've got to buy now, they've got 30, 45 days to be out of a lease, we can do what's called a rapid rescore. Okay, we run a program that takes all the information on your credit report. It's an algorithm, and it says if you do A, B, and C in the next 3 days, very important, you got to do it very quickly, then there's a 85% probability the score will jump 50 points. Now, this isn't foolproof, and we explain that to them, you know, but what happens is that they pay off a debt, let's say. They give me proof it's been paid off, they sign some paperwork with me, I have permission to contact the credit bureaus, and we update them, and their score jumps within a week, maybe 10 days.
And to add to that, something else that I really love about our company that we are able to do that maybe a lot of other places aren't so much is our access to our underwriters. I'm sure Cole can appreciate this as well. For folks who have a trickier situation and it's a little bit tougher to maybe figure out what that path is going to be to getting them financed, we're able to, on a regular and immediate basis, sit down with our underwriting staff, put our heads together, and come up with solutions for folks who may not have that help or that access other places. We can solve a myriad of challenges by just meeting with our staff,
Absolutely.
putting our heads together, and coming up with creative solutions.
Well, and a lot of times it's the flexibility because you're 100% right. It's legitimately or literally walking down the hallway to the owner of the company, to the underwriter that signs, you know, off on the file and saying, hey, this is the situation, have a real human conversation with them. That I need to accomplish this goal. What do I need to do?
That's right. And say during the process, too. I mean, if something comes up, oh, I just lost my job, or oh, I quit. What do we do now? I mean, rather than sending a file off to Iowa to wait for a week for somebody to get back to us,
hope that
we
it's
walk
okay.
down the hall. We say, hey, underwriter, we have an emergency. Let's meet up. Let's figure this out, and let's get this done.
So here's a couple key things that I'm hearing is local. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Part of the
Local
community,
first, local business.
but also roadmap. Roadmap's the number one thing that I'm listening to as far as what you guys are saying. So I can come to you guys, go ahead and get that roadmap set up so I know where I'm going.
Yes.
Right? We were talking about this earlier on the rental market. Like instead of maybe getting a rental house, this might be another option for you. Contact you guys, get that started, and maybe in 6 months you can buy that dream house, and then maybe you can sell that dream house and build some equity or financial gains.
That is exactly what I did when I bought my first house. My first house was a junker. You know, it was $115,000. It needed a lot of work, but it was like just barely got past inspections, you know, and I knew I had some love to put into this house. You know, a couple years later, I sold it for 150, and then I took that money and bought a 200, sold that a few years later, and now I'm in the home I'm in now. It's that step ladder.
Move up buyers.
Moving up, exactly. You know, there's a lot of buyers that, you know, they watch a little bit too much of that HGTV, and, you know, they're like, oh, I got that $800,000 budget. You don't. I'm sorry. You know, not a lot of them at first, at the least.
But I think the roadmap, the roadmap is really big. You're going to help that homeowner, that customer,
and they come back. That's the key. I mean, we have relationships with these folks. I mean, we start them out with their starter home. They get their family established. Their jobs change. They earn more money. Now they're coming back. Okay, our family grew. We had another kid.
Yep.
Time to move up, and we're here to help. And they know us. We have a relationship, and we're able to help them seek and achieve that next step in homeownership.
I think that's amazing because you can kind of like come in the door, get to meet you guys, and then you're there for life. You're a lifer,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
So
Exactly.
so it makes it very comfortable to keep moving from there. You have their information. Obviously, they got to give you updated information.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I mean,
comfortable.
I've got a family in town. You know, I won't name them obviously, but you know, I think I've done every family member, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, mom, dad. You know, and I have all their stuff. You know, I'm like, oh, okay, you're back. All right, so I have your last 3 years tax returns. Give me 2022s. You know, give me your updated pay stubs, and we're good.
That's right. And it's not just the buyers. They're realtors, they're agents. We partner with them as well. So often I find that, you know, if someone's looking to sell a home, the agent that helped them the first time, they're going to come back around. We're going to keep all of that together. We're going to to keep that team assembled. These
Yep,
folks
absolutely.
that we help are establishing not just one advisor, but their team for future home purchases.
I think that's why it's really important to find a good realtor that's familiar with the community and somebody that's involved in the community.
It
Because we
absolutely
know we have our preferred lenders, our preferred title. The people that we know are going to make the best team for that home
They'll
buyer.
pick up the phone when you call.
They're going to pick up
They'll
their
take care of
phone
your
past
customer
5
for you.
p.m. on a Saturday.
I was on the phone last
on the
night
boat.
till, 9:30, 10 o'clock with
Yep.
somebody.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you got to do that.
It
But
makes a
talk
really
about
big difference.
people that are part of the community. They're going to know who to recommend for you too. So you come in, you get a house from you guys help Lynn, they get a home. Hey, I need my AC replaced, I need this done. You guys are going to
Yeah,
be
I
able
know
to give
a guy.
them really good
I know
advice.
A great roofer.
Great roofer. But I was thinking about something else too. You guys have a lot more connections too, like even a new home. Like we were talking to someone earlier, Stanley Martin Builders or Stanley Martin Homes, they actually can build them a home. So you guys have access to that stuff also, right?
Yes, we do, and honestly, we love partnering with our local mid-sized builders. I mean, and being a local lender, I think that we make a great team because Stanley Martin, they build homes for all ranges and all needs. So we're able to help the buyers that we've established relationships with get into brand new homes that fit what they're after. So I definitely think that partnering with our local builders is a huge advantage, and it's something that we can add into our community effectively and help more people.
Yeah, I 100% agree. In particular with Stanley Martin Homes, their sales manager, Curtis Boyer, he does such an amazing job because he has that local experience. He's been in the building for 20 years, and you don't always get that. Sometimes you get somebody who's driving an hour and a half, 2 hours from where they live to come up here and then to sell in this community. It doesn't work.
That's right.
It doesn't really work. So, with his local experience, our local experience, I like to think we make a great team.
Yeah, we're all
Absolutely.
invested in this community and bringing it together and making it the best that it can be.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about community, like local recommendations, people that are part of it. We all want to see it thrive, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I can't tell you how many times I got a phone call from a listing agent. My buyer will put an offer in on a home. Listing agent will say, "Oh, that's Cole," or "Hey, oh, that's Casey's name. I know the letter's fine." Right?
Yes.
That's amazing.
I can attest to this.
Yeah.
I mean, if a
Yes.
realtor can pick up the phone and call the lender and the lender answers,
Oh, please
and
call me.
especially
Please
if I
call
don't
me.
know
Yeah.
the lender.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure for my seller that this, they can come through. I'm going to call them and make sure.
And
Yeah.
we love that.
Yeah, we do.
I
Please call
absolutely
me.
love
Yeah.
starting the precedent of getting on the phone with the listing agent, bringing the entire team together to get the deal done.
My favorite part is whenever we call the listing agent, like when the loan app's been signed, the appraisal is ordered, the CD, every step
Yep.
of the way, and they're like,
Congratulations,
I
you cleared to
never,
close. That's
I never
right.
hear from the
Yeah.
lender. What is happening?
well, I think one of the key things is that's what this podcast is really about. So for my personal story, it's we're able to connect people with professionals that are part of the community. But when I first moved back to Florida, I had a friend recommend a lender from Georgia. Somewhere in that area, right? Well, I found my dream house and we went to buy it, and boom, that lender hadn't done something right. They had no connections with anybody here,
help.
and I lost that house. So I believe local people are part of the community, and then you guys have that connection to get it done, and you
Absolutely.
know that people can get
and
it done.
to speak to that, I mean, we use local appraisers. This is a huge deal.
Is it
Not
big?
everybody
Yeah, it
does.
absolutely is.
If you're a local lender, and you need to know who the local appraisers are. Now, obviously, due to laws that are in place, we're not allowed to select or cherry pick the appraiser. But just having those local appraisers in
Yeah.
our pool,
Yeah, but we can pick from the panel. So it's the
Exactly.
same
Gives
5
us-
appraisers in Lake County we use all the time.
it gives us a unique advantage because our appraisers are plugged into the community. They live in this area. They know what those values are, so they give
Yeah.
us more
They're-
realistic
a
depictions.
A Tampa Bay appraiser has
where
no
we're at.
business in Umatilla.
That's absolutely right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus, like keep in mind, you might find your dream home, but you might lose it if you didn't get the lending set up
Yeah, you need a
first with
good
people that
team.
you can trust, a good
Yes.
team.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that happen so many times. It happened to me, and I don't want it to happen to somebody else. And I think you guys are the key to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What about inspections with lending?
Gotcha.
Well, many loan programs don't
Yeah.
actually require
a
inspections.
general home inspection is not required.
This
actually.
is something that
Yeah.
is a
It's a
large
myth.
misconception
Yeah.
in the community. Typically, your insurance companies
Yes.
are going to require a 4-point and a
Very
wind
specific.
mitigation.
Yep.
And we do require insurance as part of the loan. So by extension, usually
we do and we don't.
We
Yeah.
need them, but we as lenders actually don't want to see those inspections.
Not
Those are for the-
I don't want to see it. I really don't. But like you were saying, 4-point wind mitigation, super common for insurance. But if it's a government loan, typically speaking, you
There's
have to
one
have
inspection we'll need.
a wood destroying organism, or otherwise known as a WDO termite inspection. You want to make sure there's no wood rot, there's no termites in the home. And frankly, you want to know that too.
Right.
Now, if the home is on a well, a lot of times you have to have the well water tested, make sure it's drinkable. A lot of people don't think about that, but
I didn't know that.
If the home is, maybe the well's from the 70s, could have lead in the water. If the water's been sitting stagnant in a tank because the home's been sitting for a while, you could have E. coli, coliform bacteria.
But this is for government loans. I would like to clarify that for sure.
FHA,
again.
VA, and USDA.
Yes.
If you're going conventional, really, as long as my appraiser doesn't flag anything, and typically it's safety and health is what an appraiser is going to flag. They're going to walk in and be like, does the water heater work? Does the stove function? You got to be able to live there. No broken windows. As long as that's good, no roof leaks, we're okay.
But I think that's what's great about you guys is you've been through this. You've seen that. So you can kind of get that information to the homeowner as they're starting the process, or maybe they find a home before they get to that. Well, here's a few things to look at. Do you think this is going to be a problem before they get that bad news, right? Like you guys are experts at this.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, that's the most important thing for any realtor, any inspector, lender, whoever in this business. Do not panic your customer. Even if there is a problem and you haven't figured out how to solve the problem, you're that customer's rock.
Absolutely.
You have to be calm, because the moment you freak out, they've lost it. And there's been a lot of situations where maybe an inspector will flag what is a Federal Pacific panel or a Challenger panel or something like that.
Outdated electrical
outdated
panels. Typically very common.
Yeah, and they'll say, well, this home's not insurable, or you can't go VA on this home. I'm like, what are you doing?
But there are that's right.
You are not the lender.
You don't say that to people. That's right.
And a lot of times, yes, those things can be an insurance issue, not necessarily a VA issue or FHA. But it's just a conversation with maybe the seller or the listing agent. Hey, in order to get insurance, I'm going to need you to replace that panel. It's $2,500. Can we come to an agreement? Okay. And now you have a new electrical panel instead of a panic attack and a closed.
It's so important to come to your clients with solutions, not problems.
Yes.
So when things do arise, as often is
real
the
estate,
case,
stuff happens.
This is just part of the process. We're going to get around it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get this deal closed for you.
Yeah, you're really going to guide them through, right? A roadmap, like we talked about the other day.
Lender, realtor, roofer, whoever's involved, we are all in the same team. We all have the same goal, and we got to remember that.
Yeah, I like that about this podcast is we've got a realtor, we've got the lender, and we got the roofer. Those are like the three main things that you see when you buy a house. It all has to, for me, it's insurance. Like you can't get insurance unless the roof is a certain age. And then you got to find the house with Brittany. She's going to help you through that process. And then you guys are going to be able to lend out.
I want the roof to be relatively new so the insurance is affordable so they can get into the home they wanted.
But you can give them a good recommendation.
While we were on the topic of things that often come up during the closing process, it's the roof.
Right.
I mean, what happens if you can't get insurance because the roof is too old and having a roofer here? I mean, I'll say that Eustis Roofing's always been really good about partnering with us, getting the roof done, and then getting paid out of closing. That's a huge option for people that a lot of folks don't realize.
Yeah, you guys have moved things around for us and shuffled to make closings work, and we really do appreciate it, and so do our customers.
Absolutely.
Okay, so being local in the community, I love to do community events that brings everybody together, and I like to
best part of my job.
I like to
right,
get
yeah, the
other
fun
people
part.
involved too.
Yeah.
So we're actually working with you guys and your charity.
Yep.
This time for Lake West, we are sponsoring a family who just lost their father to
It was
cancer.
really unfortunate, but I'm glad we're still able to help in some way.
Yeah, super sad. They're a pillar in our community as well, so it's the community giving back to them. But we're gonna have a great time. So tell us a little bit about your charity, because that's what we're going through.
Yeah. So Casey and I, a number of years ago, started a nonprofit called Giving Back Community Enrichment Group, which has helped a number of different projects. Eustis Roofing has been heavily involved with us several times. We've done everything from remodeling an entire house inside and out to helping build a school, to handrails for an elderly woman who has Alzheimer's, just trying to work in her garden. So right now, we're going to be partnering with you for the Lake Quest event to, like you said, help raise money for that, and that is fantastic. I wish we could have helped with, raising some money, but I understand I kind of screwed that up, didn't I? Can I circle back to that?
What are you talking about?
I'm sorry.
I'll kind of jump in here a little bit
Sorry.
and say that,
Sorry.
that Lake Quest is a cause that's pretty dear to Cole and I's heart for sure.
it
We
is.
actually
Sorry, I
founded
stumbled over
Giving Back Community Enrichment Group to help a family that had a similar and unexpected loss.
Yeah.
It was actually a former buyer of ours, and she just suddenly passed away. One day she was out in her yard watching her kids, and that was it.
Wow.
They still don't know 100% what the cause was.
Yeah.
But Cole and I, we were thinking about it, and we're like, man, this is really, really tough. I mean, how many people in the community might actually have to go through this, and now what can we do to help? So we were late after work one night. We got together and we're like, well, what if we started a nonprofit that raised money to kick in and help people who are going through loss, or maybe just help people with community projects or needs?
I think we raised something like $5,000 or something.
Yes,
and we weren't even a thing
That
yet,
was the
you know,
GoFundMe, right?
That was
That's
a
before
GoFundMe,
Giving
you
Back
know?
Community Enrichment Group was even a thing.
And we cut them a check, and it was just to help with funeral expenses and things like that, and then that house came about in Mount Dora, the tiny house project or little house project.
Yep.
I love it because for Lake Quest, I really wanted to give back to somebody in the community.
Yeah.
Like I love that there are lots of places that you can donate to for cancer or Alzheimer's or whatever it may be.
But you never know who it's going to.
Right.
You
That's
don't know
right.
who it's
Yeah,
going
that's
to.
right.
And I really wanted a specific family for it to go to that's specifically in our community. We're going to have a great time, but let's all kind of give back. And it was super cool to have you guys already have something set up where we can funnel that
Thank you
right
for
to
having
them.
us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's a way to get my team involved. Like they can give back, right? Like we can bring them, do a team event where we're building something together. And how cool is that to be able to do that with your work employees, like with your team from work, and you're changing people's lives, and it's a place that you work at. Like I find that a really good opportunity to do that and it kind of set the expectations of what we're here really to do. It's to take care of our community.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little on the nose, but we named it Giving Back because that was the whole point of it.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
We wanted to find a way to meaningfully give back. That's why we've done a variety of charities, everything from helping you and the family with cancer to the home renovation to
And I've been amazed at the turnout from the real estate community
I
in
am
general.
always
I mean,
shocked.
so many people
You
have
know?
come to help us with these projects that we're so grateful for the community spirit that we have here. I mean,
Well, we support the American dream.
Yeah, we
right?
that's right.
Well, I always feel like we get more out of it than the person that actually gets it, right? Like it's a way to fulfill ourselves, to be able to help back the community. And to me, I feel like we're winning, really. And honestly, like it just feels really good.
Agreed. Yeah, it brings us back to the entire point of why we started our work. I mean, whether you're a lender or a realtor or a roofing company, why are we here? What are we doing? And it gives us that sense of purpose, I think, that's really, really critical to keeping us going on the right track.
There's so many people that just go to work 9 to 5, and come home,
Don't feel a difference.
But you want to make that difference. You want to be that for them.
Well, especially for even for us with the roofers that are putting the roof on. Hey guys, let's do this for a family. Like this is really important. And they're like, man, I really want to be a part of this. I want to work for this company because of this. Like it changes us in so many ways that you don't even expect, and they realize that, hey, this is a good place to work. And we're helping people by doing what we're good at.
Well, it's what a
Absolutely.
great community to live in,
Yeah.
right? Like a community that really gives back. Everybody we have on our podcast always gives back somehow to the community, and it continues to bring that, make us stronger. I mean, we're growing always, all the time,
Absolutely.
but there's such a core group of people that love this area so much.
Yeah. It's a great group of business professionals.
So I want to know what your next step for Mortgage Financial is.
Gotcha. So the Mortgage Doctors team has been growing and growing. We're trying to open up into new markets. Ms.
we've
Tamara
experienced
Hutto and Casey have a coffee chat that goes on in Ocala once a week that's been doing really well.
What is Coffee Chat?
So Coffee Chat is a real estate networking event that we've been holding in Mount Dora for a number of years, since 2018. And it's educational. It's very informative. You come in, you network, you meet people, and it gets your name out there to other professionals. So if you're in real estate, insurance, lending, whatever, it's open forum. You come, you bring your stories, and we kind of educate you. So as a way of kind of branching that brand out, we've opened up one in Ocala. We were working on one in Lake Nona, and I have one in Homosassa right now.
And I think
Homosassa.
when explaining Coffee Chat to people, the concept of what it is, it's
a little
important to-
foreign. Yeah.
It is. It's important to emphasize that it's not supposed to be salesy. I'm not here to give you
Yeah.
Casey's Mortgage Hour.
Yep.
I'm here to get to know who you are, who are the players in our community, and how can we come together and do more business and impact our community in a meaningful way.
Yep, absolutely.
So you guys are branching out Ocala, Homosassa.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're kind of all over the place right now.
Okay.
It's been great.
I had somebody ask me
yeah.
today about Seminole County, as a matter of fact, and
Yeah,
starting a coffee chat
so
over
we
there. So
we kind of want to bring our brand and what we're doing, to as many parts of Florida as we can. Like I know Eustis Roofing has, I think, a new office opening up. I want to say
Yeah,
in Fruitland Park.
All right.
So it's kind of a similar concept. You want to be able to serve that area. We want to serve more areas too, and bring our small town brand with us. Homosassa has been on my radar for a long time. I love the area. It's a lot like Lake County when I was a kid, you know, and so that's kind of where I'm heading next in terms of trying to find a lucky loan officer that wants to kind of lead the charge there. But Ms. Tamara Hutto is our Ocala territory manager, and then we have David Rossman up in Jacksonville and Fernandina Beach, Duval County. And I've got somebody I interviewed. I'm hoping to hear back soon for the Orlando market. I'm really excited.
But I think when you talk about the coffee chat, what's really great about that is you're getting to know people so that you know who they are before you recommend them to your clients, right? Like
absolutely.
that's super important.
You know, so you gotta be on point with them. You gotta believe in a lot of the same things, and you gotta be able to trust them.
Yeah, so you're putting in a lot of effort and time ahead of even meeting your client.
Yeah.
So making sure that you're connecting with the right people, and I think that's really cool.
In a referral-based industry like this one, who's on your team matters.
All word of mouth.
You absolutely have to know who you're working with. Are they dependable, and are they going to deliver? Who's going to give your client that best experience?
Wow.
Absolutely.
I love the Homosassa area. I'd like to open up
Yeah.
a place there too.
Yeah, we enjoy it. We were out there scalping last year.
Oh my God.
Oh, I can't wait for scallop season. Yeah.
So I got a question for you guys. So I know 90% of the market used to be refinancing, right? And you're not seeing that anymore. So how has that changed your business? What are you seeing now?
This is where all of the investments that Cole and I have made in our community are now paying off. By helping people and establishing lasting relationships with our realtors, with our buyers, we're able to enter an industry in what would be a challenging time for our competitors, certainly, or people who have relied on refinancing over the past years and really just enjoyed the prosperity that we saw.
They
in
ignored the
2020
community and their
2021.
realtor relationships.
We're able to utilize those connections and still maintain our status in the community as helpful guides, and also to bring in clients that we've established relationships with. It's very difficult now in a market that's declining to capture brand new business because there's not a lot of it going around.
Yeah, and so there was a lot of loan officers, and I know them because you can look at their NMLS number, which is their license ID number, and if it's anything above a 2, they signed on in probably 2020. And they came on to do the refinances. They just took the phone calls and got the deals and got the closings. And then when everything dried up because interest rates, went to the moon, honestly, they couldn't sell it anymore because it was a bad product at that point. If I'm at 3% interest rate, you're not refinancing me at 7. It's just not happening. It doesn't make any sense. So like home equity lines of credit have become a little bit more popular for their like renovation type products, things like that. But it's not really a good idea to do a refinance right now unless you have no other choice, like a divorce situation as an example. You've got to pay, your ex out.
I think when times are good, it's easy to get complacent, and a lot of folks just enjoy the prosperity that's coming in, and they don't think about what's going to happen if that goes away.
Well, I think this goes back to the rental market. That might be the new place to go to help those people get in homes that they might not thought they could afford. Give them that roadmap, and we can start putting them in new homes. We can start putting them in existing homes, and maybe not throwing their money away,
Right.
Absolutely.
And people are going to need to move. I mean, that's why it's so important to be that part of your community. Be the rock that people turn to when times are tough and they have questions.
Well, and it's funny because everybody's, kind of looking at interest rates right now in the 6s and 7s, and they're like, oh gosh, that's really, really expensive. But you got to remember, nobody thinks about this. Rent is 100% interest. That money is going right into the trash can.
Yep.
So 6 or 7% is not really that bad. And historically speaking, interest rates hang out around the 6 mark.
Yep. That is the historical average, 6%.
Yeah, I think the key to it is you guys, like I said, is the helping hand, the roadmap. Like, it doesn't cost anything for anybody to kind of come to you guys beforehand. It's until the loan's approved, right?
Well,
That's right.
Well, not at all. And they never actually like they're not paying me. Like they don't pay the realtor. Like they'll have their closing costs. They'll have some options in terms of like buying down the rate, but it doesn't affect my commission. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But you're 100% right. We just get that roadmap going for them, and there's really no reason not to do it when I can do a soft inquiry. Doesn't hurt your credit report. I can look at everything, tell you do A, B, and C, make that roadmap.
It costs the buyer nothing, and it really provides invaluable insight into their next steps.
Yeah, much better than your Google search.
I look at that as it does. Yeah,
I mean,
it's the
frankly.
service we provide as lenders. Honestly, that a
Yeah.
lot of folks don't realize. I
Like-
mean, we're not just here to make money off of a deal. We're here to help you get what you want.
Yeah, I don't want to blow your phones up, but like instead of going on Google, they can just go see you guys.
Well,
Maybe
text-
even have
text me.
career changes, like put a roadmap for their life together to get the goals and the dreams that they want.
Absolutely, the door is always open. If you have questions, I'll ask. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, well, and I would much rather ask a question. I'd much rather you come to me with that than assume something or look it up online and it just go completely sideways.
That's
So
right.
they definitely shouldn't hide things from you.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
now,
that can cause disasters.
If we
later.
need to have a sidebar conversation about something, we can do that. But no,
Like if
please
they
don't.
buy a car a week before closing.
Well, I always tell folks
well,
that
you
the
wanna tell your
loan
story?
process is a process of discovery.
Yes, we will definitely
We will
find
find
out.
What are some major no-nos when they're in a closing process?
So actually, my most recent
yes.
favorite one is actually one of your stories. If you want to tell it, with
Oh.
the husband and wife who are probably no longer married, the car.
Oh
situation.
yes, yes.
Oh,
Speaking
that
of
was
cars,
it was
oh
so
my
bad.
gosh, yes, it was.
If they're still married, it's a miracle.
We were a week from closing, and they had saved up money for a down payment. And without consulting his wife, the husband in this took the money out of the bank and paid cash for a car that he was not able to sell to recover the money. And it cost him. It cost him a closing.
Yeah, that was all their money. Pulled it right out of the bank, bought a used car a couple days before closing, and I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, he's buying a house in a few days. He's part of the loan. He's aware of what's going on. Yeah. And I can't make this up.
We have a thing that we send out. It's a flyer we send out to all of our buyers called the 13 Commandments of the home buying process.
Yeah,
And
thou
it goes-
shalt not.
It goes through 13 activities that you should refrain from or practice
What
during that
about-
process.
do not get
Maybe
married or
buying
divorced.
furniture for their brand new home before they close.
Not on credit or with your down payment money, please.
So I always tell everybody it's status quo. Okay, it doesn't mean like during the process you don't have to just sit there and wait and not doing anything, but you need to call me. Because there's a lot of really well-qualified buyers that decide they want to buy furniture, they have to buy a car, they were in an accident.
Yeah.
Life happens. But if you don't tell me, and it's a surprise 3 days before closing, and it's a fire drill to get everything done, we could have avoided all that by a phone call or a text.
That's right.
Because if I can anticipate it, I can plan for it, I can get everything set up, and then it won't be a problem.
This is why it's also really important to have a good team
Yes.
because
Yes.
you're going to answer that phone. If there is some kind of major accident where they need to go buy a new car or something,
Yeah.
they can just pick
Life
up the phone
happens.
and call you. But if they don't,
They don't.
It could
they
be
could cost it.
it could
money.
cost
I
them
didn't
quite
think
a
it
lot.
would be a big deal. No,
Oh, but it
It's a big
is,
deal.
and you're right. I mean, that's why as a small company we give our buyers our cell phone numbers. Call us,
Yeah,
text us.
they
You
have our
have
cell phone.
access to us.
That's unheard of.
Yeah, it really is. There are a number of ways you can get a hold of us: text, email, and we are a team. So it doesn't matter if you call me or if you call Casey.
That's right.
It goes in the same pot. So if I'm on vacation, you don't have to worry about your loan not going through because I decided
right.
to visit with my family.
I've had that before. The
Yeah.
lender went on vacation before our closing, and nobody could get a hold of him. That was
Oh,
fun,
no.
super fun.
Oh
No,
no.
we
and
ha-
nobody seemed to know.
We always
where-
have at least 3 people on standby, whether that is the owner of the company,
Right.
Casey if I'm on vacation, the underwriter, you can get a hold of somebody in order to get an
That's
answer.
I
right.
would maybe assume you might call them and let them know too.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
They should.
Yes.
Yeah. So whenever, like, say, if I go on vacation, I am setting up my phone voicemail
To
my
auto-forward to
email,
me,
the signature.
typically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm having a conversation, not an email, with every buyer, every realtor that I currently have an active deal going with, so that they're aware and they don't get blindsided.
But
That's right.
you also have a place they can go to, right? Like
Right.
you don't
Yes.
always see
Yes.
that with
Yes,
lenders,
and
right?
if they for whatever reason they misplace who they're supposed to call, as soon as they call me and my phone goes straight to voicemail, it's like, hey, thank you for calling Cole Barlow with Mortgage Financial Group. I'm on vacation. Casey Gates, my team member, will be able to help you. Here's his phone
And
number.
I have access to all of Cole's files
Yeah.
and vice versa. So if I go on vacation, Cole can open my files and he can jump
Yeah.
in there and he can take care of what needs to be done while I'm away.
Yeah, so when we say 7 days a week or we're on vacation or whatever, we mean it. We set it up that way.
So Sunday, give me a call.
I was on the phone Sunday.
We're there, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'll be at an open house on Sunday this
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Don't ever
we're
don't
here.
ever not call me or reach out to me, especially if you're putting in an offer. If you've got a hot buyer that's wanting to move, call me. I'll take care of it. Don't have them wait till Monday.
If I got to take a phone call on a boat, y'all better take phone calls
Oh,
too,
yeah.
right? Like,
if I have to do a pre-qual in my car, right or like the parking lot of the ball field, I coach Little League, I want you to
Yeah.
pick up too.
we're all in this together,
Yeah,
right? This is
exactly.
the American dream that we're supporting,
American dream.
Yes,
100%.
that's right. The American dream.
making sure they get those homes
Awesome.
with
Yeah.
good roofs.
And they can afford those homes.
Yep. Yeah, with good roofs.
Yeah.
Important.
I love it. Hey guys, I really appreciate you being on the show. There's a lot of great advice here. If you're in the rental market, if you're in a new home buying, if you're looking for an existing home, you guys gave some really good advice. If you want to stay married, there's some good advice there too. So thanks for joining. Brittany, thanks for helping host, and we really appreciate the knowledge that you're helping this community with, and also thanks for helping the community and all the charity stuff that you guys do.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. We
Absolutely.
appreciate
well,
you
Jason,
having us.
Brittany, this has been wonderful. We would greatly appreciate the opportunity to be here.
All right, guys, thank you.
We'll make
All
the
right.
American dream happen.